All right, so some fantastic news, if you ask me, from the world of Marvel. THR originally reported this. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse producers Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who also did the previous Spider-Verse movie, Into the Spider-Verse, are officially in control of all Sony's Marvel movies and shows going forward. So this is tremendous news. And I'll explain why and what this actually means. First and foremost, this is great news because if anybody understands the Spider-Verse, no pun intended, but the Spider-Man family of stories and characters, it's Phil Lord and Chris Miller. And if you didn't think so, Across the Spider-Verse had to have changed your mind about that because these guys dug real deep and really brought out the best of decades and decades of Spider-Man into that movie. And the reason why this is great is I'm not sure if Amy Pascal, because I know Sony Spider-Man movies are Pascal Productions, she's always listed as a producer. I'm not sure how much control she has now because there's conflicting reports on that. But what we've seen from the quote-unquote Spider-Verse has been, let's be honest, pretty damn lackluster. And I'm not talking about the animated movies. I'm talking about the other movies. I'm talking about stuff like Morbius. I'm talking about stuff like Madam Web. I don't know how Craven's gonna be, but I will tell you that I'm not that interested in seeing it. This whole concept that Sony has of doing Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man is so freaking weird. I understand that the Spider-Man family of characters is vast. I understand he has a rogues gallery second to none except maybe Batman, and that's debatable. And Spider-Man has had not months, not years, decades of experience. But to me, people just if you're gonna make a movie about a side character, you have to make it compelling, you have to make it interesting, and Spider-Man has a lot of interesting, compelling characters, but Madam Web, bro, is not the way. And I feel like with Phil Lord and Chris Miller, these guys are gonna cut down on the crap and not put out these garbage movies, and probably only put out movies that are gonna do well, or that have at least their own personal stamp on it. You got to understand, they're not just in charge of animation. It says control of all Sony Marvel movies, which is Venom, all that stuff. There's another report that came out today that Venom: The Last Dance is going to be the last Venom movie of the Tom Hardy series. And I think of all the movies that Sony's put out outside of the MCU, the Venom movies have probably been the most they have been the most successful, but they've probably been the most, liked. Because Morbius, man, I will be honest with you. I haven't seen it because nobody's told me to see it. Everybody I've talked to about it say, you can skip it. I've heard anything from it's terrible to you can skip it. Madam Web, I've heard, is absolute trash. And I haven't watched it because even though part of me, I'm okay with watching bad movies from time to time, I have a lot going on right now in my life, y'all. I have a lot of things I'm working on right now. And so it's hard to squeeze in things, to squeeze in things into my schedule. But with Lord and Miller, we don't have to worry about this anymore because they're going to do what's right by the character. And what I'm a little worried about is them receiving pressure from Sony executives above them to drop more Spider-Man movies. And we know there's going to be a fourth Spider-Man film with Tom Holland coming out relatively soon. They're going to start shooting, I think, later this year, right? I think that's what I heard. So this is nothing but a thumbs up to me. This is how it should be. Take people that are familiar with the source material, that are actual fans, and who know how to make good movies, and combine the two. Look at, for example, James Gunn. James Gunn, even though I don't agree with the choices he made with The Flash, and remember, that movie was already done before he got called up, so it's not really his fault, but I have no doubt in my mind that Superman Legacy, or Superman as it's being called now, is going to be good because James Gunn's a great filmmaker. Let's be real, man. Guardians 3 was one of the few shining spots of modern Marvel, of post-Endgame Marvel. So to me, this is what companies need to do, and let these guys cook. Just let them cook. Let them do it. Let them do what they do best. Anyways, I'm excited for that, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do. With that being said, take care, y'all. Let me know what you think in the comments below.